Hello everybody, it's Kate the West Coast Papercrafter. It is Monday evening, 7 p.m. Pacific time if you are catching me live on Facebook. If you're catching this on a replay, then it could be any day, but I'm happy you're here. It's October 27th and tonight I am going to share a project using the Pop-Up Petals Bundle, brand new from Stampin' Up, not yet released, but available if you are a demonstrator like me. So I popped this into a pre-order and I can't wait to show you guys this set. It's a lot of fun. Now I'm adjusting to the new packaging that the dies and the stamps are coming in. They're skinny little envelopes. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet, but I am a little bit resistant to change. So what I do know is that it will be a little bit easier to store. I'll be able to store a lot more goodies with this new packaging. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kate. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada on Vancouver Island in a little rural community called East Souk. Happy to be here. I see some of you are tuning in. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Susan. Hello, Teresa. All right, let's get going. I'm going to flip the camera around. It's going to get bumpy, so close your eyes if you get dizzy like me. Quick shot of my super messy craft space. And we're ready. Okay, so I am using the Pop-Up Petals Bundle. This will be released November 4th in online exclusives. Unless you're a demonstrator, you can grab this right now. Hello, Janice. Hello, Marion. I'm also using the Perennial Postage dies. I have to show you guys this. If you haven't seen the Perennial Postage dies, they're super handy, right? There's lots of different sizes that you can use and just a handy staple to have. Love it, love it. Jennifer, thanks for tuning in. Nice to see you. Hello, Brenda from Kansas. All right, I might be missing some comments. And I'm also bringing in the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. So measurements, I've got a Crumb Cake A2 card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4.25 on the long side. Hello, Christine. She is double tasking, watching me and the game. All right, all right. Then I've got a piece of Country Woods Designer Series paper. Now this is 4.25 by 5.5. I've got the largest Perennial Postage die cut in Crumb Cake that I've gone ahead and also embossed with the Forever Plaid embossing folder. Now if you don't have the Perennial dies embossing folder, you can just cut your cardstock to 3.75 by 5. And then with the second largest Perennial Postage die, I cut out a piece of basic white and another piece of the Country Woods Designer Series paper. Again, if you don't have the dies, you can cut these two pieces to 3.375 by 4.5. Oh, Jennifer, you're looking forward to seeing what I'm going to make? Well, you might be disappointed, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. Karen, good to see you. Oops, I lost my laptop. Hello, Cynthia from rural East Texas, another rural girl just like me. And then, of course, I've got a piece of basic white for the inside. This is 4 by 5.25. And a little piece of petal pink for my sentiment. That's 2.5 by 5/8. Now, Jennifer, I'm saying you might be disappointed because this design I have taken right off of Stampin' Up's website. So as a demonstrator, I get to see what's coming up. I get the opportunity to purchase things in advance like every other demonstrator that's following me or that you know. And this is a design that's posted right to their website that goes along with this stamp set. So I am literally copying this right out of Stampin' Up's website. So if you're disappointed in me, I'm sorry, but you're gonna love it either way because I've never actually copied anything straight from the catalog. This is a first for me, and I'm gonna tell you something, friends. I didn't I didn't have any regrets. I had a lot of fun making this last night and I didn't have to think too much about it. Now here's a little tip if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Whatever you see in the catalogs, any images you see in the catalogs or online, you can actually find the sample recipe in your website and it's going to tell you all the supplies that were used to make that card. So I did a little digging in the website to find the sample recipe for the card I'm going to show you tonight so I could use the exact same supplies. I may have messed up just a little bit. I think I cut this one size too big, but you know, we're going to go for it. All right. Hello, Donna. Hello, Kathy and Sarah from Idaho. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take this Perennial Postage die cut that's embossed with the 3D, Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder, and we're just going to add some white ink to the embossed side. So where the lines are raised up, I'm going to add some ink. Now, there's more than one way you can do this. If you have a brayer tool, you can just roll the ink over top, and I do have one, but I want to show you guys that you don't need fancy tools for all the things, right? Hello, Leanne, with my favorite nickname. So I'm just taking my white ink pad and I am going to make a big mess on my glass mat, and I'm just dragging this down along the cardstock. Now it does get a little bit messy, it's not perfect. It smudges a bit, and then that's okay though, right? So I'm just going to keep dragging my ink pad across this piece of crumb cake until I have it properly messed up, all right? And I did that on purpose. So I've just added a little bit of white. Maybe you don't want to do that. You don't have to. You don't have to. But if you like to, you can. So brayer tool works great. I'm just going to clean up this. Oops, now I'm rubbing off my quote for the night. Shoot. That's okay. That's okay. It said, do something for yourself every day, even if it's just 5 minutes with paper and ink. That's what my little quote said. Jackie, you loved a case from Stampin' Up! And you're not disappointed. Well, thank you. You're so sweet. All right, so that's all we need for the white ink. I've still got some more. That white ink is a little bit more sticky and tacky than the other ink pads. Hey, Kate, thanks for tuning in. All right, so we've got this piece. I'm just going to set this aside for now. And then I've got these two pieces that I'm going to do some magic with. So the first one in the Country Woods, I am going to use only 1/3, or wait, what am I going to do? I'm going to cut off 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to save this piece for another project, and I'm going to use this piece. And then while I have my trimmer out, I'm going to cut off the very top of my Perennial Postage die cut. So I'm just cutting about 1/4 inch off. I know, it seems weird to do that, right? It seems weird. Hello, Susans. I've got 2 Susans popping in. So I would never normally do this, but I am following the design from Stampin' Up! And they did it. So if you're weirded out by it, trust me, I was too, because I thought, why would I ever cut the top off my Perennial Postage die? So, but I did it. All right, so I'm just adding a little bit of glue to the 1.5 inch piece of the Country Woods Designer Series paper, and I'm going to line that up with the bottom of my basic white Perennial Postage die cut that I chopped the top off. I know, it's crazy. It feels very choppy. All right, so we've got this, we've got this, and next we'll do a little bit of stamping and die cutting, and then we're going to put this card together, and it's going to be beautiful. Hello, Jeanette. At least I think it's beautiful. So in the stamp set, there's 2 little pots. I'm using the rounded one, and I'm going to stamp this in Lost Lagoon on a scrap of basic white. My Lost Lagoon is a weird color for stamping. It's kind of spotty, and I'm not sure what the problem is with it because I have inked this baby up and it's a juicy stamp pad. Maybe it's too juicy. I'm not sure. Does anybody else have this problem with their Lost Lagoon? It's just kind of a, I don't know, spotty for me. I don't know why. All right, basic black. I'm going to stamp this floral image. And then there's a tiny little butterfly that I'm going to stamp 3 times in my Tuxedo black. I think I called it basic black, but it's Tuxedo black. All right, tiny little butterfly stamp. Checking my fingers for ink. Right, Leanne? I got to check for ink. Otherwise, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to smudge. I think this butterfly stamp is super cute. It's just so simple, right? It's not detailed. It's just really simple. And that's what I think I love about it. Now, I'm just going to stamp 3 little butterflies in the top left of my inside layer, you know, because I don't like to do naked inside cards. It's kind of my thing. I try not to, even if there's something small on the inside layer. I just don't like it to be completely bare. Okay, Petal Pink. Again, this piece is 2.5 by 5/8, and this is going to fit this sentiment that says, "You get me, and I appreciate that." I actually really liked the sentiments in this stamp set. We've got "Thanks for being there, grateful for your friendship, you get me, and I appreciate that, and you make my life better just by being in it." That's just perfect. I hope this sticks around for a while because I could use these sentiments all the time. Kathy, you got all your pieces cut, but you have a meeting. Yeah, friend, you catch up anytime. You catch up. I'd love to see what you make, by the way, when you post it. All right, so I'm going to attempt to get this perfectly stamped in the middle, but I do struggle a little bit when my phone is in my way. Oh yeah, not too bad. Just a smidge off, and I can work with that. But you know me, I've always got a backup piece just in case I royally mess it up. And I think I was just as crooked in this one as I was in that one. Look at ink. That's where it comes from. It's happening. I need to have some baby wipes on hand, like all the time. All right. Now for the coloring of the floral images, I've already gone ahead, I've colored some, I die cut them out just because I don't want to put anybody to sleep with coloring, but I'm going to tell you what the colors are that I used, and these are right from the sample recipe that I got off Stampin' Up's website. So thanks, Karen, I totally nailed it. Susan says she puts her dies on a magnet and stores them with the stamps. That's a great idea. I have some magnetic sheets and I will do that actually. That's a really smart idea. All right, so for the petals of the flowers, I did those in Calypso Coral. I started with dark just at the very base of the petals and added a little bit of dark up the lines of the flowers, and then I filled in the petals with the light Calypso Coral. The inside of the flowers I did with my Petal Pink blends. The dark Petal Pink I shaded in where there's the little dots, and then I colored it all over with the light Petal Pink. And Mossy Meadow, I just used light for the leaves. And then I also used Lost Lagoon for the butterflies. So the butterflies in the Stampin' Up! Sample are done in Lost Lagoon, dark Calypso Coral, and Petal Pink, but they kind of alternated, and I'm gonna do these quick. So the one butterfly that was mostly Lost Lagoon, his wings were Lost Lagoon, but his body was Petal Pink. And then there is a dark Calypso Coral. The body of that one had Lost Lagoon. Where am I at? Okay, I need my dark. Oops. You know, I actually grabbed Cajun Craze, not Calypso Coral. Shoot. So my sample is slightly off from Stampin' Up's, but That's why it was so dark. So dark. So I like to organize my Stampin' blends according to the color families that Stampin' Up! Has. And what I did was I put my Calypso Coral in the space where the Cajun Craze is and vice versa. So I'm slightly different from what Stampin' Up! Did. Slightly different. Kate would love to know how everyone stores and organizes the stamps that come with the paper pumpkins. Well, Kate, I'm not the right person to give you a good answer on that, so somebody else might want to tune in on that because I have a paper pumpkin box that I literally shove all of my stamps in, and that's it. I just stuck them all in a box. And that's as far as it goes. So I'm not the right person, but I bet somebody here might have some good organization tips for their paper pumpkins. All right. Hello, Lisa. Okay, get these out of the way. This is for the inside. And here are my pieces that I've already cut out with the dies. Now the dies have two butterfly dies, which is handy because if you're stamping a bunch of butterflies, it takes a while to cut out these tiny little pieces, right? Good. All right, carrying on. Now, I should put these over here so I don't lose them actually. Right over there. Okay, so card base. We are going to add our Country Woods Designer Series paper to the front of the card. It's going to cover the entire card base. This is another thing I actually don't do. I don't tend to cut my layers to the exact size of my card front. My glue is not behaving. But I got the trick to fix it. I have this skinny little needle that I keep handy for when my glue clogs. I promise you guys it was working just before this live. Anyway, I've got sticky, skinny little needles everywhere on my tiny little craft desk because, I'm always unclogging my glue if I forget to put the cap on, which happens to me all the time. Plus, I can't see where I put things. It'll be right in front of me and I'm not going to see it. So that's why I have about 3 or 4 unfolded paper clips and little needles that are all sticky and gummed up with glue, just kicking around my spaces on my desk. All right, so I just glued that Designer Series paper right to the card front. It covers the whole front. I don't know how I feel about that, friends. I like a little bit of border action happening, but now here's another thing I don't do is slightly offset my layers, but in the sample card they do. So I'm going to do it too. Now I do think that I cut this layer just a little bit too big. I should have used the second largest die, but we're going for it. All right, so we're getting some comments about what to do. Donna says she folds the picture paper in half, tucks the stamp between the paper, and puts the whole lot into a plastic sleeve. That's smart. Very clever, Donna. And Leanne is currently organizing everything, and you're going to go for a small box and stamps in the poly bags labeled by month and year. Yeah, that sounds pretty organized, buddy. Sounds pretty organized. All right, so I'm just going to add some glue to this embossed layer, slightly offset it on the card front, like so. And then, where's my other layer? What did I do with that? This one I'm going to offset just a smidge as well, right on top of this layer. All right. This is going to come together really fast now, and I can't wait to show you the sample card I made. Even though it's going to look almost identical to this, it's got a surprise. Leanne, yeah, Donna's idea does sound good. All right, I'm just going to scroll up because I see Karen organizes her extra stamps and dies in a container from Michael's that has 16 smaller containers, and she labels them with what everything is. Karen, that's organized. That must be one of your superpowers because that sounds pretty organized. I am not so organized. I am a toss it in a box and forget about it girl. And then when I feel like I'm looking for a specific stamp set and I don't have quite what I need, then I'm digging through my box and trying to find something. All right, next step, we're going to attach our flowers to the flower pot. I'm just going to grab a little bit of tear and tape for this and add the tear and tape right to the back side of this flower pot. And then I'll stick my flower on there. We're going to pop it up with some dimensionals, and by some I mean a ton, because you know I'm dimensional heavy. Nobody wants any sagging flower pots on their cards. I think I'm out of my regular, I'm either out of my regular dimensionals or I have lost them in the abyss of crafting supplies. So I'm working with minis tonight, but that's okay because, you know, I can stuff a lot of minis on the back side of this image. It's got room for a lot of minis and it fits in all the tight places, right? All right, one right there, and clearly I need one right there. Now I probably don't need this many dimensionals. I know, I've got a problem. There should be an intervention, right? It's a little out of control. I'm not the only one, I have a feeling. All right, I think I've got all these off. Get that out of the way. And this is going down right there. Perfect. Now I've got our 3 little butterflies, which will hold a mini dimensional perfectly right in the middle. Like these butterflies were made for mini dimensionals. And one more. All right. So I'm just going to add these butterflies. Right there. And the pink one right up top. Okay. It's looking pretty cute, hey? Pretty cute. I know, Teresa, you and I are thinking the same thing. I'm thinking cute, you're thinking cute. It is cute. It just is darn cute. I like these flower cards, but the stamps in this set, and even though I love the sentiments, they're not the reason I actually bought this in the pre-order. It's the, there's 2 dies in this set that make a mechanism for an interactive card. Hence, obviously, pop-up, right? I feel like I'm spoiling the surprise. I'm going to show you guys. All right, so I've just added 3 dimensionals along the back of 2/3 of that sentiment and a little bit of glue to the very edge here, so the glue sticks to the flower pot and the dimensionals are going to stick to these layers, and then everything is the same layer. I went ahead and tied myself a double bow. That's going to go here, but that's the very last step because then I'm going to weight that down. Now, before I forget, if you haven't seen this trick with the linen thread, not how I store it and just leave a little bit of the bag open so I can pull the thread out. I've shared that trick more than once and you guys are probably bored with it. But if you take your fingers, and if you got a little bit of fingernail and you just run that linen thread through your fingernails, you are going to straighten that linen thread out and it's going to behave so much better. All right. It really does, I want to say, tame the linen thread so you can tie a really nice bow. So give that a try. Just take that linen thread, run it through your fingers like that, and it just flattens it out and it works like a dream. Lisa, you like this bundle? Yeah, I love it too. The DSP is Country Woods, and I checked last night, still available. It's been around for a while, but you can still get it. All right, so before I glue the bow on, I'm just going to add my inside layer. And then this card is finished. And it's fun. I really love it, actually. I'm kind of glad that I decided to copy right out of Stampin' Up! Last night, out of the website. It was really fun to make. So if you hear the word case, that refers to exactly what I did. It's called copy and share everything. So you find a nice idea you like from another stamper, from a website, from a magazine, whatever, go ahead, copy it, share it, case it. Just copy and share everything. We want to, right? That's why I want to show you guys ideas. I want you to copy what I make, or take what I make and make it your own with your own flair, or copy it exactly how I make it, whatever you want to do. Kathy, you did the trick with the linen thread. It does work really good. It does. All right, so here is our card. So cute. And then the bow is going to go right here. Some of you know how I feel about glue dots. Sorry, Stampin' Up, I don't like your glue dots. I like everything else except the glue dots. So I've just added a little dot of the Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, and I pressed in my linen thread so it's right in my tiny little glue puddle, and then I'm going to weight that down 5 minutes or so, and that bow is not going to go anywhere unless I give it a really strong yank, right? Lisa, you cased my fun fold from the other day. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. I love hearing that. I'd love to see a picture. If you want to share it, that would be great. All right, here's a card I made last night, my sample card, before I showed you guys this design today. And wait for it. Oh my God, look it. This is the reason I got this bundle, because in the dies, there's a little mechanism that allows you to create a pop-up right in your card. Isn't that so clever? So I played around with it last night and I was like, what? I don't understand how this works. Because what I thought was going to happen, I thought that these little tabs here, because you cut out the tabs, I thought the tabs were the mechanism that you glue this little box on to the inside of the card. So I thought the die was going to cut out a little box and that was going to be it, but that's not what happens. I'm going to show you. Where did I put that? Okay, so these rectangular dies, they don't completely cut it out. So what I needed to do was cut the inside, one big inside layer to fit my card base. And I just grabbed some Lost Lagoon cardstock that I had kicking around, and I shaved off 1/4 inch on each edge so it would fit in the card, folded it right down the middle, and then I took this die, and you can see there's 2 tiny little notches. You line that up right where the card folds. So right on my fold line is where these notches went, and then it makes this cute little box. So it took me a while to figure it out, but you know, to be completely honest, friends, I'm not always the sharpest tool in the tool shed, so I had to like look at the other sample card and think, what the heck? But yeah, it's so cute. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and I don't think it has to just be in the inside, so I'm going to like get my brain working with a couple cups of coffee this weekend and create some designs where you've got surprise features on your card and you just like, you know, pop out a big bouquet of flowers. So super cute. I hope you guys really like this card. Again, I took it right out of Stampin' Up's website. I'll flip the camera around. I cased it and I might case it again. I might case more things because that's fun. Now, again, I had mentioned if you're a demonstrator, you have access to these sample recipes. It's another little perk, but it takes a bit of digging around the website to find them, which is a big pain in the butt. So if you're a demonstrator and you're like, Kate, what are these sample recipes you speak of? Just shoot me a message and I'll walk you through how to find them. You can find them 2 ways: through the website themselves, and also if you have the DBWS, which is a demonstrator website. I never remember what it's called. Never. All right, Susan, the name of the set is Pop-Up Petals. It will be available November 4th. Unless you're a demonstrator, you can get it right now in your pre-order. All right, Christine, I hope the game is excellent. I am not watching it, but I certainly feel the excitement from those that are right into it. It is exciting. It's an exciting time. All right, thanks for tuning in. It is the 27th, which means we just have a few more days of the joining special for this month. So if you're in Canada, well, actually, let me just, if you're anywhere where Stampin' Up is, there's a good joining special. But if you're in Canada, I can help you join up. And if you join up, you get a super good deal. You can join for as little as $48 and get $165 in products in your cart for that cheap, right? When does that ever happen? When can you get $165 worth of goodies for $48, right? It's a start the car moment. So that special is going on until the 31st. There are some rules I found out about it. Apparently, Stampin' Up! Will flag you if your spouse orders after you order. It's a rule. So you can't double dip. I just learned that, which, I'm not sure how I feel about that. What if there's two people in the house that really, really desperately want to craft, right? If you just share an address, you're married and you both can't get the starter kit, I don't know. I don't know if there's an exception to that, but the general rule is that they're going to flag a second order if it comes from the same address, and they're going to do a little bit of digging before they process it. I found this out the hard way, so that's unfortunate. Learn something new every day. But other than that, the rules are pretty lax, right? You can just join up, get the starter kit, stick around for a minimum of 6 months with no strings attached, and enjoy your own 20% discount. Or you can choose to stay after 6 months. That's up to you. And there's no penalty if you drop off. There's no penalty if you stay. It's all good. So some people join up just to get the starter kit. I call them my kidnappers, and I love you guys. I love you. It's smart, right? We're smart shoppers. Some people join for the discount and the community and they stick around, and that's awesome as well. And then there's people that want all of it. They want the discount for themselves, and they also want the opportunity to have a little bit of a crafting side gig, which is great too. So if any of that sounds good to you and you're in Canada, please reach out. I'd love to hook you up with the best deal we're going to see in, I don't know if we'll ever see it as good, but who knows, right? Stampin' Up! Might surprise me. So joining special, ending very, very soon. And also, my October shopping special is ending very, very soon. So for those of you who shop with me in the month of October, no matter what you order, you will be invited to my exclusive online Zoom class, November 1st. This is the first time I'm doing a Zoom class. I'm pretty excited about it. And I'll be featuring the Amber Autumn Bundle. So any order, you get invited to the Zoom. If you're on my team, you're going to get invited to the Zoom. I'm going to send out a link to the Zoom and the measurements for all the projects tomorrow night or Wednesday. And then for my customers, there's a 3-tier system. Any order gets you an invite to the class. Orders over $60 before tax and shipping, I'm going to mail you out the card kits. They're not going to make it in time for the class, but you can always catch the replay with the pieces. And then orders that are $100 or more also get some embellishments sent out as well. So that's my 2 big updates. But what I'm most excited about is the joining special, because I really love it when people snap up a deal, right? Start the car, kidnap, get yourself some cheap crafting supplies. All right, I think I've said enough. I will be back Thursday night with the very final project in the Amber Autumn card class at home. This one has been a long go. This will be project number 6. So there's been a lot of fall projects. Then we're moving on to Christmas cards for November, and I will be featuring the Delicate Pines card bundle. So the Delicate Pines bundle for my card class at home on Thursday evenings, all of November. And I will also be featuring the Delicate Pines bundle in my November customer appreciation gifts. All right, so if you're my customer or teammate in November, the exclusive Zoom card class will be early December, and it's going to focus on the Delicate Pines. Am I saying that right? Let me check. I have it somewhere in my stash. Pretty sure Delicate Pines. It's the pretty pine one. I don't know where I put it. All right. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I know I missed comments. I'll go back and I'll check and say hello. If you're catching me on a replay, say hello. Tell me where you're from. And I'm so happy that you guys are here either live or on a replay. I will be back Thursday evening, and I hope to see some of you then as well. Bye for now.